What's up, everybody? Welcome to Slammers Weekly. I am Bo Garino, joined as usual by my co-host here, Ben Lip. I apologize in advance for my voice. I look and sound like a guy who got ransacked on the road yesterday. At
Not a lot of partying last night for your trials and tribulations at Doylestown.
No. Team Garino came back and
Yeah.
got some cough drops and try to get this voice back for this episode. I mean, usually we wouldn't record under these circumstances, but this is time-sensitive material here.
Yeah, are you hurt or are you injured? Right, that's kind of the question of the day, But thank God, I mean, at least for our team, you're playing for the name on the front of the jersey instead of the name in the back, right? You're a team first guy. Yeah.
I'll be there Sunday.
Right.
But I want to get into D-Town a little bit before we get into some other stuff. We're going to talk about some AA stuff. We're going to talk about some of the best and worst stuff of the week.
Mm-hmm. Some jarring stuff out there, for sure.
Yeah. Some of the stuff you showed me was great. I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Yeah.
We already posted a few things. And, when you get – how many players do we have this week?
We had 2,346 players compete in GAT matches across 393 different teams.
Yeah, so when you have over 1,300 matches, you're going to have some good storylines going out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only thing missing is the old quarter points. I mean, I can't imagine with this analytics that we have,
right?
What we could have seen in some of the quarter points,
right? And what was the quarter point situation back in the day? That was pre my.
Oh, was it you? Oh, it was okay.
Yeah.
I guess I was the tail end of that. Yeah. So every hole you won by, you got a quarter point.
Oh, okay. So
you can see exactly how much somebody lost by.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and that really played into the strategy too, right? Because the whole sacrifice somebody. It doesn't really matter if they lose 10 down.
Yeah, 3 points is 3 points.
Yeah. So let's get into Doylestown real quick. What'd you think?
I think in a word, Bo, horrible. Just, I would say in terms of driving out there, seeing the idyllic countryside, getting to Doylestown up there, such a bad vibe. I think all in all, a bad drive. There's no good thoroughfares to get there. Like we were doing 295 for a bit, the turnpike, and then we got on these weird winding roads. And then when you actually got to the clubhouse, I mean, it looked like a bomb site. I mean, they're just opening their clubhouse. I think they've been open for 2 days, and so there's still construction and everything going around there. But really, you would never know you were in like idyllic Bucks County. It was really a bad vibe out there, and a really bad, poorly designed golf course to boot as well. I had no fun out there. How about you?
Yeah, I echo that. I mean, like you said, that even though it was a bomb site, the clubhouse is nice. We'll give them that, right?
Absolutely.
They did a nice job with that.
Yeah.
But everything else is horrible. I mean, the range is bad. The putting green's really bad.
Some of the worst.
Yeah, one of the worst.
Basically a 45-degree slope. The whole.
I had 2 putts and just this is a waste of time. I'm good.
Right. No one good is practicing their putting out there.
And like you said, the course is bad. I mean, it really is. There's a couple, maybe 3 or 4 decent holes, and then the rest I'm not a fan of at all. The greens were I couldn't believe how much POA they had on them for this time of the year.
It was popping. Too.
I just couldn't believe there was that. Like, I mean, it hasn't even been warm, right? Like, where's that? Yeah. They were almost all POA, but like not a budding POA, right? Not like
germinating.
It wasn't like there wasn't the retardant spray on there where it's like right germinating exactly right.
Yeah,
because our greens are POA and there's a lot of good POA greens, but I guess they spray that new retardant on there that prevents it from, like you said, germinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were horrible.
The greens, I mean, based on how many grass types you were seeing out there, they're mutts. They're mutts of greens. There's just what a mix.
So many blends going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were coming off the back of the aeration too. They had the ridges in them, the rivets in the greens too. So your ball can really snake and kind of find one of those rivets on putts that are going straight up those.
And it's fine if it was a public course or a cheaper place, but they're almost building themselves as like a higher end club now. Right. They're kind of entering that higher end tier with what, at least from what we heard from some of the gentlemen we played with.
Right. And it's not like they're kind of thinking about restoring the golf course. All of the sod has been laid. The paint is dry on the restoration, and it's still horrific. Right?
Yeah.
There's so many trees out there that I'm just shocked they just don't have the wherewithal to take those down as well. Some of the holes on the back nine are just so
11,
crazy.
12.
11, 12, 13, all of those holes back there are just so crazy tight. And just a weak quartet of par fives as well. Really can neuter as a guy that is on the longer side, my advantage was totally neutered by just all the 3-shot holes you had to play. There was no risk reward profile to them, and there was no like, oh, I have 220 and like I can go for it if I hit a good drive. There was none of that. It was just like you had like 240 and it was all force carry. And everyone just laid up to the same
side hill lie.
Yeah, and it was
the green isn't receptive for a 240 shot.
Yeah, it's too small.
Yeah,
the green like that
ninth hole is horrible.
So
yeah, it's not meant to be hitting hybrids into or 3 irons.
Right. It was just a wedge contest from like 80 to 120 yards, and then it was whoever could make that 10-footer or 15-footer.
Yeah,
the greens were too firm, and it was just kind of just off enough that you couldn't really stuff the pinata on any of those.
Yeah, I did that typical thing when you go on the road and play a good player, and you just you shoot a mid-70, and it's just not going to be good enough.
Right.
When you're playing the number one guy, like you got to really show up and play.
Yeah.
You can't bring your B game and expect to do anything.
Right.
And I just got crushed out there.
Yeah, and I think honestly, based on the way those guys played, you probably would have won 2 points out of any of the other matches.
I know.
It's amazing you play that one guy and you just get down, but in reality, you probably would have came out the victor in those other 5 matches we had out there.
Yeah, I mean, from a team perspective, doesn't matter because anybody would have lost to him on our team, right? And then I would have. So it's a net wash, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll take the 19th loss on my record. Back to 500, 19. It is what it is.
Right.
How'd you make out there?
I have my guy. I played one of those quote unquote wily vets, like one of those garden variety 3 handicaps that doesn't really hit the ball far, doesn't really get it far offline, but is never really out of any hole. Very physically limited in terms of gifts, right? But he always makes a score. I think he probably shot around 77. I was around the same. And we have in our match, he made like a 15-footer on the last hole. I made like a 10-footer. It felt like just like your classic away match. It was really basically after the restoration the first time I saw Doylestown. So I was pretty blind out there and really wasn't prepared for some of the horrific shit on the 4th and 6th holes. Those are horrific holes too. And it's just one of those things you could just see over the course of a round how I was just losing a quarter shot on holes and how that added up to just like having the guy instead of beating the guy.
And you play him at home, you beat him 5 up.
Yeah.
It's one of those deals.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that 4th hole I would say is a candidate for worst hole in gap.
Right.
If we were doing a top 10 list, I think that definitely makes the top 10 in my opinion.
Yeah.
I haven't played a hole that bad in a long time, I would say. Honestly.
Right. And I would say even worse than that was some of the suggestions we got to hit driver on that hole from some of the course knowledge that we were hearing. I don't know. Getting up on that tee, no neuron in my brain was saying driver. No. Right. Absolutely no part of my brain was thinking driver there. It was just
the head covers were on. It was just what iron am I going to hit?
Exactly. That place, bad hole, bad course.
Yep. All right, enough with Doylestown. We'll move on.
I would say one more thing. I got one more thing. We would I guess juxtaposing the course to the actual lunch spread that we got after the brunch, the brunch spread in the clubhouse. Again, props to Doylestown for putting on a good show. At least a couple days after they opened the clubhouse, we got a great brunch buffet out there. Wouldn't you say? Yeah,
and a day of turkey clubs and well done burgers. Right, we got a nice spread.
Right,
you feel like now the typical lunch is like, like I said, a turkey club or a burger.
Yeah, DIY deli meat platter sort of.
And if you're not in the mood for that, you kind of just get out of there and just go out somewhere.
Right.
Right. The whole days of steak dinners are long gone.
Right. Unless you're at Cherry Valley, of course.
Oh, Cherry still hits you with the steak?
Cherry does hit you with the filet. Yeah. Okay. Made to order. It was good.
Oh, wow. Made to order, too. It wasn't like you come in, they're just handing out plates.
No, I've seen that. On the first tee, they ask you what your temperature.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So if anyone's out there at Cherry Valley, I mean, you're in for a treat.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost like one of those things where it got rolled back during the golf club recession, which I'm totally cool with, right? We can't be spending $2,000 on handing out food to strangers for a day.
Sure.
But now that the clubs are doing so well, why don't we make a movement to up these lunches again? And I'm not saying they have to be steak dinners because that's maybe a little much, but we shouldn't be handing out these thick cold cut spreads and nobody wants that stuff.
It's pretty phoned in, honestly. I love. We had eggs, bacon, your garden variety, a nice salad bar, good bagel bar,
oatmeal
bar was fantastic. Croissants, danishes, all that. Good. That's kind of what I'm looking for out of a gap match thing when it's like Sunday and it's like not really lunch, but it's not dinner.
I don't want to eat a steak at 2:00 in the afternoon or 1:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, you're ending your day right there. I love the brunch vibe. I hope that continues.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and
that was good.
Yeah, we saw some good food around too. We got a couple pictures of that Sakuma spread
Right.
that those Y's whipped up.
Absolutely.
Man.
I mean, you made some comments about them not having a kitchen, but I think that definitely
Plays in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. That made for a probably tenfold, right? Whoever Sakuma was playing, they got a great meal for sure. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I love seeing those aluminum tin foils, the half pans,
Yeah,
right, or full pans of.
Yeah, the sauces look great.
Yeah.
Everything looked very flavorful.
Yeah, good stuff. Shells. You could tell they've been sitting there a little bit, right? That's what you want.
Right.
Everything.
Everyone gets to know themselves in the sterno aluminum can.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
What are some of the stats we got here?
Yeah, at least at the top.
Well, we should probably start with AA, right?
That's where I was going to start.
Okay.
At least the top of my list in terms of the highlights was Lulu's 2 team. Lulu 2 really, really took it to that DuPont 1 team today. They scored. I mean, they blew them out. How many points did DuPont score? Like 9.5 points.
8.5 points.
8.5 points, and then mid 40s for
45.5 to 8.5.
Yeah, 45.5. That's And you were even saying before, and we have it on record here, that the DuPont 1 team really wasn't ready to punch in that weight class. So I think you had that one hook, line, and sinker. Yeah,
they benefited from a weak A division. They're an A division team, right? They're not ready for that AA.
Right. And
not many teams are. That's not a knock on them, right?
Right. And Lulu drummed them, so Lulu 2 has a chance to really make a push here for winning that division. Then hopefully Lulu 1 can grab the other one, right?
Well, that division got really interesting. That Section 3 with Marion losing, and now Aronimink and Lulu 2 playing next week.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like whoever wins that's going to win the division.
Yeah.
But there is a way that Marion can still backdoor their way into on that week 3 because they're going to crush DuPont next week, right? Yeah.
It's just a matter of
how much, right? How much, and then that sets up where if they if Lulu 2 wins next week, and then Marion can beat Lulu 2 that week 3, and overcome that point differential.
Yeah, that's shaping up to be.
So that's gonna. There's a lot of scenarios there.
Yep, for sure. Easily the best one to watch.
Absolutely.
Of the 4.
Yeah, the other ones seem like foregone conclusions, except for the Glenmora Huntington's always. So it'll be an interesting match.
Yeah, I mean Huntington and Glenmora both kind of fired their warning shots across the bow, right? They both had fantastic weeks, and I mean, when are they playing? Do you know if they play week 2 or week 3? When is that matchup? So next week it's 1 versus 2. So yeah, it is going to be Glenmora and Huntington next week. Okay, so that I would say that is for the
that's for the division. Right?
Yeah. And then we would be remiss if we didn't mention Philly Cricket 1, just a total bludgeoning of Saucon Valley 1. That was my sleeper going into it. Hand up, I totally bricked that one.
They didn't cover your 22-point spread you laid out there.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't cover any number that was widely available.
Would they have 1.5 better ball points?
Yeah, 1.5 better ball
points. 25.5 to 1.5 on the better ball. That's domination.
You can't win any match. Doing that. Yeah,
You know what's impressive about Cricket Club? They quietly go out and do their thing, right? You don't really hear much from them. No one really talks about them anymore because they're so. It's just assumed that they're good. It's assumed they're going to be in the final. There's not really much to say.
Yeah, they're the gold standard.
Yeah,
right. Just kind of, it's like an index fund, just like the S&P. It's just you're probably going to get 8 or 9% every year. That's kind of how it works. But yeah, Saucon was in the basement of better ball points in the AA, 1.5 points, like you said. That's really bad. So yeah, we'll see if they can rally the troops next week. I'm not bullish after that performance, but it seems like that's Philly Cricket's to lose. Philly Cricket wants to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's almost like if you were to put a line on it, it's almost like Cricket, like minus 10,000 and just other, right?
Right, yeah. Plus, Cricket versus the field,
and it's just you put $100,000 down and you get $1,000 back.
They're almost. I mean, the bookmakers are probably just considering just take it off the board.
Yeah, it's pretty much
hijinks or whatnot. Yeah, it's not even worth taking action on either side.
Yeah, that one's over. I guess the Lulu 1 Ledge Rock match could be interesting. I still don't see it. It just seems like Lulu should come out of that Section 1.
Yeah,
and then like we said, Huntington Valley and Glenmora next week will be basically playing for that championship. The only one it seems like that will be open going into that week 3 will be that section 3 potentially. You got any stats pulled up?
All right, we're going to take a look at the biggest demolitions. This award could have many names. This is the award for "We Hope You Didn't Have a Long Drive Home" award. "We Hope the Lunch Spread Was Good" award. "We Hope You Had Great Playing Partners That Were Fun to Play With" award. But this is the biggest demos of the week. The lowest scoring points of the week out of the 393 teams that laced it up yesterday. So we had Ramblewood 3. They scored 2 points. They scored 2 points, and this was an E division fixture.
Charles can't be happy about that performance.
No.
Anything with his name on it, he's got a big ego, Charles. Even though it's a 3 team, right?
That is tough to take. It's again, I think we've said this on previous episodes. It's probably hard to get guys to sign up after that drubbing, right? Yeah, Manufacturers 3 just took it to them.
It sounds like there could be a forfeit in their future.
Yeah, I agree. So that one was really bad. Let's see what else we had here. We had Northampton 4.
Mm-hmm.
Just 1.5 points. 1.5
for the whole team.
Yeah, 52.5 to 1.5. 1.5 points. 0 better ball points, and that's 27.
And that's in the E division, correct?
That is E division.
So there's nowhere to go. It's not like they can be relegated back.
Right. You're in the basement. You cannot dig further. You're hitting up against clay and bedrock here. So, that's as low as we can go here. That was against Yardley too as well. So those were I would say the biggest demolitions. But again, we hope you didn't have a short drive. We hope the lunch spread was great, just to not rub salt in any of those wounds.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Like you said, you wouldn't want to be the captain trying to rally those guys up for next week.
Yeah. The week 2 lineup text is a lot tougher to write now, right? What do you even say, right? It's you're like the mayor public speaking after like a tragedy, right? It's really you're just trying to put on a brave face. We're gonna get through this. Like Ramblewood's strong, Northampton 4 strong, right? Lot of pump up. Let's just play for pride at this point, right? Even though obviously these guys don't have much game, so. Yeah, it is tough.
It'll be interesting to see those point totals for the year for those guys.
Yeah.
They're on pace for all-time low numbers.
Yeah.
We would have to look at the stats, but I think we did look at the stats.
Yeah,
the lowest point total ever was Rivercrest, I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think they scored like 17 and a half points.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Northampton 4 is well on their way to eclipse that. Because Northampton, I mean, I looked at all the 20, whatever some odd years that we had, the data. That was the lowest scoring week in gap match history.
Oh my God.
1 point. Well, it's 1.5 point. I mean, you can't go much lower, right?
Yeah.
How much closer to 0 can you get? Yeah, 1.5 points. Yeah. Do we want to move to upsets?
Yeah. Let's do upsets.
Okay. I'm going to take us to White Manor. White Manor yesterday. It was pretty nice weather. Maybe a little bit cold. Maybe that played into the match, to the result here, but not a breath of wind. So really no excuses out there yesterday. We've got White Manor 3's Dan Bauer at home here. He's carrying an 11 handicap. We got a fixture here against a Ravens Claw 1 team, Ian Zhang. He's carrying a +4.
Okay.
So we got an 11 playing a +4. +4s on the road. Dan Bauer, clean sweep 3-0 against this +4 on the road.
Wow.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's
a tough way to open. You wonder if at least knowing White Manor, those first 4 holes are very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, they're really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he just got in a hole early and then just never could dig himself out. But again, if you're a +4 versus an 11, that's really no excuse.
Yeah, losing your wits out there isn't an excuse.
Yeah.
You should be able to at some point right the ship and get it together.
Yeah, you could at least, it's not too much to ask to just shoot a couple over on one of these sides, right, and grab 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But to just totally no show and fold up shop, I think that's unacceptable. I think that's probably it for Ian Zhang's road performances this year. If I'm the captain, let's get him back.
Yeah,
let's
he needs to be at the claw.
Bring the boy home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the lights were obviously too bright for him. If I were to solicit some advice for that Ravens Claw 1 captaincy, that would be it. Second on this list, we had a Lulu 5 guy. We had a Lulu 5, Tyler Tomey.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some relation to Jim Tomey. Who knows? Who could say? But
Tyler told me he's carrying a 4 handicap at home. He's playing Michael Hefner of Indian Valley's 3 team, who's carrying a 15. And we've played Lulu. We know it's pretty generous off the tee.
Yeah.
And I think we looked at their home field advantage. It's not very good just
bad.
because it's very generous.
A lot of games can travel there, right? It doesn't force your hand.
It's classic Ross. It's back to front greens.
It's short.
Yeah, and so the
no
4
force carries.
Yeah, the 4 handicap at home, he got blanked by the 15.
And this is Lulu 4?
This is Lulu's 5 team.
5, oh my
Their
God.
5 team has a 4
handicap?
Isn't that
That's
crazy?
insane.
Right, and I mean, he totally no-showed. He vacated the premises. He lost all 3 points to a 15 handicap in there.
Man.
It could be a case of this Mike Hefner. I think we've litigated this on previous episodes, maybe going down to that Ledbetter Academy in Florida in February and really catching a vibe, doing some work in the game, and then coming out here with a bunch of game. Or I don't know, it could be one of these Lulu guys that might have a little
over ambitious with the handicap.
Little vanity index. You wonder if he's just trying to get his handicap low enough just to get on the 5th team.
Right. Just to play a match.
Right.
Because, do they even have, they don't have a 6 team. Is there a 6?
I think there is
There's
a 6.
Lulu 6.
We'll actually get into a 6th teamer later.
Okay.
But yeah, just to pump it down to a 4 and then just get evaporated off the face of the planet. That's tough.
Yeah. And I know just from hanging out there one day with those guys, they take all the teams pretty seriously.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to have a talking to.
Right. Yeah. And it's very interesting too with the dynamic of like promotion, demotion. Like, are they going to send him back to 6, Lulu 6, or how do the indexes work? Are they just going to sit him because they got guys on Lulu 6?
A long line of guys waiting to come up.
Right.
I think he needs to take a week off.
Because I would say Lulu more than other clubs, it's really a next man up mentality, right?
Yeah.
Like if you don't perform, you're done.
Yeah.
Like the leash is really, really quick. Like if the pitcher has mean guy, he can't even get through the rotation once in the first 3-4
and they're walking to the mound. Yeah.
He's done. Like second inning, as soon as he gets in the jam, we're throwing a guy up and he's thrown in the relief. We got 2 relievers warming up right in the pen.
It's not a cozy place to play over there.
No.
This isn't
no, it's not.
This isn't the Riverton 3 team.
Yeah, one more upset here. We had Andrew Bowl of Woodstone's 2nd team. He's a 9 handicap at home. He's playing IRM 2's Michael Judge, who's a 19. The 19 polished off the 9. 19 on the road, polishing off the 9 again. So
IRM, and what was the other place?
IRM and Woodstone.
Woodstone.
So that's
way up there.
Yeah. So that's one of those northern PA fixtures, one of those regions.
I think you called that the Bermuda Triangle up there. There was some weird stuff that happens up there, right?
Yeah.
Unexplained.
Right. Yeah. Very, very random. Random stuff's going up on there. Yeah. Michael Judge, Andrew Bowl. Those are some of the big head-to-head upsets of the week. Yeah, this last one again, this better ball upset. It's coming from the Bermuda Triangle again. We have a Glen Oaks 3 team playing a Berwick team, 3rd team here. So at home we have James Egan and Dave Abel. They're carrying an 11 and a 14 cap respectively. They're playing against Berwick 3's Jeff Helsel and Taylor Reed carrying 4s and 3s. Respectively.
So you add them together, it's 25 versus 7.
Yeah, 25 at home versus a 7 on the road.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, at home. So, the 14 and 11 polished them off 3. Clean sweep in the batter ball.
Wow.
That's pretty bad.
To get curb stomped by a 14 and 11?
Right. And the 4 and the 3, you got to make like 16 pars out there in a better ball. Like in a 4 and a 3, you shouldn't really shoot more than like 4 over better ball. And these guys seem like that's this 14-11 ceiling is like 4 over better ball. Because those guys aren't making that many birdies, right? And that's really how you're winning these holes.
And they're going to X out holes. They're going to hand you 2 holes. You're already 2 up before you start playing those guys.
Yeah. And so, 3 points, not even a fight. You know, can't even grab a half on one side or win one side by just making 9 pars or like 9 pars and a bogey. That should get it done against 11 and 14, right? 8 pars and a bogey.
Yeah, the narrative isn't good there.
No, it's Bermuda Triangle stuff, so we don't know what's going on, what's in the water up there, but that's unacceptable.
Yeah. It could have been really cold up there. We don't even know. I mean,
I know.
It could have been
so many different weather systems. Yeah,
it could have been 10 degrees colder up there versus where we were.
Yeah. Do we want to get into win streaks?
Yeah, let's do win streaks.
All right, win streaks. So first, like you posted on the Twitter feed, the longest active gap head-to-head win streak in the gap right now is Christopher Thude of Torresdale 1. We have a buddy on our team, on the Riverton 1 team that Chris added to the list here of disposals that he's made over, what has it been? It's got 7 years that he's been playing these things.
Found himself in Chris's crosshairs, I think, last year, right? 23.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, got disposed at home. He loves playing at home, too, and Torzel has such a strong home field advantage. He did win week 1 of this year, so he did keep that win streak going. He's got 20 straight matches now in a row, the majority of which are at home. That's a good run.
Wow. Yeah, 20 straight. It's funny. I actually thought about that yesterday when I was 5 down through 10. And I was thinking, holy shit, 20 straight seems really crazy now. But what do you do as a captain if you're sending somebody there against him? I mean, what are you doing?
I think you got to play the sacrifice.
At this point, right? I mean, you'd be stupid not to.
Right.
I mean, unless you have a really strong lineup, but if you have a weak link there, you have to sacrifice him against Christopher.
Right. I think he's probably playing first out too most of the time. So he's getting the away team's best punch, you would think, most of the time, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if guys are just sacrificing against Thude when they see him in the card when they get to that Torresdale shop, but
you can explain his 5 or 6 win streak with some laydowns and some sacrificing, but 20, I mean, that's the guy's playing some golf.
That's not a joke. Yeah.
We had another guy too, right?
Yeah, we did. We had another guy, same exact situation as Thude, winning 20 straight matches, and he also won this week 1 in 2024. It's Linwood 1's Robert Salad.
Yeah.
Romaine Robbie, as I'm told he's affectionately known as down at Linwood.
Bobby Lettuce.
Yeah, Bobby Lettuce, Romaine Robbie. He should try some of those on for size. Let me know which one he wants to go with. But again, 20 straight for the Linwood first team. He's a good player. I think he's carrying a 6 right now, so
it almost feels like a fake account,
right?
You know, someone signs up for that for your business, and you see that Bobby Salad, and you go. I mean, I've never. Once again, it doesn't matter that I've never heard of him. I've never heard of the guy. I mean, I would like to see if one of the listeners has a story about Bob, because he's obviously a legend.
Right.
He doesn't just.
He's gotten around. 20 straight times.
Yeah.
Like someone in the listenership has probably crossed paths with Bobby.
And that's really a black hole down there, down the shore.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, there's only a few teams that really have teams down there.
Yeah.
And it's almost like its own separate association down there. Right? Even from like the Jersey, you have the Jersey, the Gap, and over there it's just like a free for all down there.
Yeah.
I don't really know any of the guys.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because they just kind of stick to themselves. They don't come out here very much.
No, they don't play in the Jersey stuff. They don't.
No, it's true. Everything's far from them.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the 2 longest active streaks in Gap. We actually had 2 here that were active as of the end of 23, but they both lost week 1. We have Thomas Scheibel of Applebrook's 2 team. He was working on a 16er. And then Fred Graziani of Lulu's 6 team. He was working on 14 matches in a row. I can't imagine because I think both of these guys too were favored. They were playing higher handicaps in their matches. I can't imagine that Sunday sauce tasted too well at the end of the day for Fred Graziani after losing as kind of the favorite, to blow up that 14 streak.
Yeah, that's tough. At home too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough for Fred.
Oh, no, I'm looking here. I'm keeping myself honest. Fred was on the road.
Okay.
Fred was on the road, and he lost to I got to keep myself honest here. He lost to a 6. And Fred's carrying a 7.
Okay.
Jericho 2's Joe Braun polished him off.
That's a little easier to stomach, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he went up to Jericho. He got off to a slow start. And
on the contrary, though, Thomas Scheibel, he was carrying a 6 on Applebrook's 3 team. He lost to Tom Palmer of Liberty Hill 1, who was carrying an 8. Mm-hmm. So really not a great way to go out if you're working on a 14 streak. Really, like your pitcher giving up a no-hitter on a bunt single, right? A little cheeky one down the third base line that kind of is in no man's land.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It's not good for anybody. It's not good for the guy who broke it.
Right.
It's not good for the team. It's just it doesn't sit well with anybody.
Yeah. He didn't get some guy's best shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like some 4 or 3 going in there, really roughing him up. This was just
Yeah.
It was anticlimactic ending to that streak. We had some others here. We had some other notables. I want to go through the AA guys. We had at 11, 2 Philly Cricket 1 guys. Again, this is so strong to win 11 matches in a row at Philly Cricket 1, AA. We had Mark Benevento and Marty McGuckin. Marty played week 1 in 24 this year. So again, that got him to 11. And then Mark Benevento, a DNP in week 1 here for Philly Cricket 1. I guess they didn't need him. What is he protecting the points here? Is he aware of the situation? He's working on 11 and wants to get to 12, but the game's not in that great of a shape. Like it's one of those, like you see in the NBA games, end a quarter, end a half, when the guy is, you can tell he's really ready to chuck that.
He's got his eye on the buzzer.
Right.
Yeah, he's got his eye on the clock.
Ready to chuck that half quarter, but just going to wait just a half a second and then let the buzzer go and then throw it just to preserve that 3-point field goal percentage. I think we could have something like that develop in with Mark. He's really kind of feeling the streak and protecting the points.
Resting for the playoffs.
Where you don't even get to count the match really in the total, right? Because the challenge.
Yeah, that's right. They don't
really,
no statistics on those.
Right. So let's hope we see him out there next week, and hopefully you can get the dub, extend that to 12, because that, I think Chris and Romaine Robbie's streaks are really impressive at 20, but 11 matches in a row
in double A.
I think that's a little bit stronger.
I know.
Right. Because you're playing like you're getting guys' best shots.
You're playing a guy that anybody in double A can go on the front 9 and shoot 3 or 4 under.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're just waiting to play a guy who does that.
Right.
Right.
And
we see it in, B.
Yeah.
You play a guy who goes out and shoots 3 under on the front.
Right. On hard golf courses.
Yeah.
Right. This is not the field club. Right. These are legitimate big boy golf courses.
We'll keep an eye on these. It's going to be interesting to see how these play out. You would think one of these will go down in flames probably next week. Just we had like 6 or 7 on our list. I think we posted.
Yeah, we had 1, 2. Yeah, we had six active streaks right now, all over 10 wins.
10 wins.
Yeah, and so we'll see. Follow along, and we'll see if they can. Anyone can break these hit streaks up.
Well, I'm back to 0, so
yeah, me too. Right, because ties
doesn't
are
count.
out.
Ties
right?
doesn't count.
Yeah, so I'm back to. I was working on one in a row last year at Talmore, and we're back to
square one.
Rip this thing down to the studs.
We'll catch you in 2031.
Yeah. When I'm still probably working on a 2-piece at that point.
All right, is that it for statistics?
Yeah, I think we're good on that board. Now the crowd can wake up after me boring them for the last couple minutes.
The one thing I wanted to mention was I spoke with the Pittman captain. He had reached out to us. We ran some analytics for him. He went with the sacrifice method. So he took his 2 worst players, at least by handicap, right? Michael Leonardo and Chris Williams on the road. He played him in the 1-2 spot, right? They got egged.
They actually played the guys that we played. I played last was that 2 years ago at Short One? Jeff Wortman and
you played those guys?
Yeah, we played those guys. We got the better of them, but it's great to see the Pittman 1 captain kind of really lean into the sacrifice there.
Yeah, so the guys did just what we thought. They got 0 points.
0 points.
Right.
Yeah, probably just had a bucket of beers. That was all good. They were just waiting to get around to that buffalo chicken cheesesteak.
First group out, early showers.
Yep.
Right. But with that, they had some advantages in some other matches, and they actually came out as 31-23 victors. So even with that spotting them 9 points, right, they still end up winning by 8 points.
Right. They crushed at home too. They won 8 of 9 possible better ball points at home. It's so strong.
Yeah.
Whereas kind of some captains' conventional knowledge would say, hey, put your dicier, those guys, Michael Leonardo, Chris Williams, put them at home.
Yeah.
Maybe in that 5-6 slot where they can kind of do something if they're doing something in that slot. But good to see he just ripped the Band-Aid off, sent them out 1-2 away, and then they reap the benefits at home.
That fits into the ideology of you can give away points on the road, but you can't give away points at home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it fits in also with trying to give everybody a chance, right? Those two are married together versus just like you said, sending your 2 worst players on the road 1-2, let them get crushed, and then have everyone else reap the rewards of that sacrifice.
Right.
Because who knows? They could have kept those guys at home, and they could have got goosed at home too.
Right, and then you send one of your better players away, and the short club gets them. You know,
Mhm.
and those guys playing in that 1-2 hole are like pretty solid. So anyone that Pittman one could have sent from their home team out there, it's not really fait accompli that they were going to come out the victors there.
That's not an easy place to travel to. I don't think.
No, it's not. It really isn't.
Windswept and just a little goofy down there.
Yeah, it's not an easy place to play for sure.
All right. Do we have anything else?
No, that's it. I think that's a wrap on week 1.
Sweet. Yeah, we're going to keep this just the gap matches. We'll touch on some of the qualifier results on our next episode.
Okay.
Got some stories from those.
Yep.
Yeah, qualifier season's here.
Yeah, it is.
We're about to get slammed with qualifiers to the point we won't even be able to keep up with them. Right? So, it comes fast.
Yeah, we're building up a backlog already. It's not even May 1st, and we already have a backlog.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, good stuff. Thanks for all the stuff, Ben. Thanks for getting the data together. Thanks again for Gap for giving us the access to this. We enjoy it. There's a few other people that enjoy it, so it's fun. Good luck in week 2 to everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll check back in with you guys shortly.
Thanks, everyone.